Hi, how's it going? My name is Mike. Today I wanted to make a video to show you how to make one of my wallets. It's a rustic leather wallet, and I'm going to be using a brand new pattern that I just made on my computer. And this is what it looks like on the inside. It's going to have 4 pockets and 2 hidden pockets on the inside, and it'll be a really nice wallet. I think the pattern looks good, and I'm really excited to try it out. So let's get to work. Okay, one thing I want to show you about these patterns is this is the back of the wallet, and this is actually 3 different pieces that I can cut out and put on the back of the wallet. And the reason why this piece has this long piece here on it is that is where I would fold up the leather and stitch it or put a grommet there so that I can hang a D-ring on that for a chain, and it would look something like that. This D-ring is a little bit too big. I was just experimenting with it. I'm looking at, I ordered 1/2-inch D-rings so that it would fit a little bit better, and I made this piece here 1/2-inch width so it'll fit really nice. So but today I'm not doing the wallets with the D-ring, so I'm just cutting this piece out, this piece right here, and that will be a 3rd layer on that wallet. Okay, now I have all my pieces cut out. These are all my panels. I only need to cut out half of the inside panels because I can just flip them over to do the other side. So I'm good to go there. I'll get to tracing them onto my leather and start cutting. Alright, I got my patterns all laid out here on my piece of leather. I hate having scrap, so I put them so close together that I might be kicking myself in the butt for that, because I can't mess up. I'm going to be using scissors, so that's going to help out a lot. But if I had gaps in between them, you could just cut and not have to worry about the next piece right next to it. But that's just the way I am. I don't want to throw any of this away if I don't have to. Another thing you're going to have to watch out for is when you're laying your pieces out on the leather, you need to make sure that the other side is what you want, and where your pieces are, make sure that it's good. If there's any imperfections or anything, that you need to make sure that you're okay with that, and what piece that it's on. Like on this piece, from it being folded and sitting on the shelf, it's got these stress marks from where it was folded, and I think I can just buff most of that out with my finger, which is pretty cool quality about this leather. But what I did, because of those stress marks, is I laid out my pieces to avoid most of it, and I think a little bit of it, like this faded piece, and a little bit of it is going to look kind of cool on there for this piece. But I just want to avoid the really bad stuff. So now I got to get cutting. This is going to be a lot of cutting, and it's going to take me a little bit to cut it all out. So if this wallet really does well and people like it, and I sell a lot of them, I'm definitely going to have to look at getting a faster way to cut these out. Maybe a clicker die, get some dies made, or find a laser cutter or something. So we'll just have to see what happens. Alright, we'll get to cutting. quick tip when cutting this flexible leather is it's always nice to have something pretty heavy to sit down on it and hold it in place while you cut. You just pull on it, give it some tension, and just cut, and it makes things a whole lot nicer. It's like having an extra hand to help you out. Okay, so what I've done is I've started putting these together. I should have shown how I did this, but take a scratch awl and your outside piece, and you line it up just where it's going to go on the pocket, and then you take the inside piece and you lay it over top where it's supposed to go. Then you pull this piece out, you mark it, you mark where that piece needs to sit, so you know when you glue it where to put this piece on. So after you glue all those up and you let them dry, I take my hole marker, I go along the line that I scribed. That's where my threads, I'm going to stitch this up, and those threads will keep the card from going way down too far so you can't get it out. It'll stop it so it sticks out real nice right there. So I'm just going to go through, make sure these are all done. Okay, now I'm just going to set these up in my stitching pony and start stitching them. My stitching pony, I made it myself. It's pretty easy to make, nothing fancy. All I need is for something to hold my leather still. And since I'm stitching on my table, I need something heavy to hold it for me. So I use that. I use this for all kinds of stuff, but put that on there. Now, how much thread do you use? I'm going to use 4 times the length of the line I need to stitch. So alright, now I'm just going to start stitching these up. It's a saddle stitch. Nobody will ever see this stitch, so it doesn't have to be pretty, but I just make it look nice just for the practice. Some people saddle stitch, they stick both needles through and then pull both ends out tight, but these are so short that I'm not going to worry about trying to do that. If they're really long, it might save some time if you can get the needle through without stabbing it into the thread as you're putting both ends through it, which happens to me a lot. So I go all the way down to the end, and then I'll come back stitch a few, 2 or 3. Okay, that one's done. You cut it and you just leave a little bit there so that you can burn it. I let it melt for a little bit, blow it out, smash it down with my finger. It's nice and flat. It's not going to come out. There's that one. Alright, I'm not going to make you watch me do all these, so cut out for now. Before I show you the next step on these wallet panels, my son Braden wants to come out and say hi.
Hi.
Little buddy. Someday he's going to learn how to make wallets. Alright, so I got these all stitched together. This is enough to do 4 wallets. So the next step would be, put you down here so you can see it. The next step would be taking the outside piece and gluing it on where it needs to go. So how I do that, the glue I use is barge cement. It's a shoemaker cement. It's really, really strong stuff. But the way I do this is I hit the back of these first on each side.
I'll be back, Daddy.
Then I close it up real gently to get glue on each side. Then I just run a bead all along the outer edge. Like that. Now let it dry for a little bit. Alright, the glue's dried a little bit, so the next step is to take the panel and line it up. Press it down. Like that. And you set that aside and let that dry. And then we'll stitch it here because this will be the inside. So I'll get these glued together and show you the next step. Alright, now it's time to stitch up the inside panel, and all I'm going to do is stitch this one side, and that'll be the inside. It'll go on the inside of the wallet where you can put the money in, and then when I get these two pieces put in the wallet, then we'll stitch all the way around the outside. So here I've got my stitching pony set up, and I'll just put that in about that far. And I need the thread length that I need is about four times the length of the stitch I'm going to do. So just to show you how long this takes to make and stitch by hand. I don't want to bore you to make you sit through all 8 panels that I've got cut out. So I'll just show you the one. I'll finish the stitch and then I'll cut to the next step, which the next step will be gluing on a liner for the inside of the wallet, because I love the feel and the look of a liner on the inside of a wallet instead of just plain flesh. The flesh part of the leather, because it's a little bit rough, and It's kind of rough looking, but if anybody's got any better ideas other than gluing and stitching in a liner, I'd be glad to hear about it. But I don't know if I'll deviate from that habit or not, because it gives it a really nice, this one I've already done. This is the rustic outside part, and on the inside I've glued a really nice, smooth, clean looking liner. It helps it keep water resistant, and it's just, when you're sliding things in and out of the inside pockets, it just makes things go a lot smoother. I really like it. I carried one wallet that I made without a liner, and it just didn't look as nice as they look with the liner, which I probably should take the cost up a little because they have a liner. I've noticed that most people don't make the wallets with the liner. A few more stitches here and I'll be done with this one. I'm shooting this video entirely with my phone. I don't know how many of you guys out there use your phone to make your videos, but my second video, the last video I made, I transferred the videos from my phone to my computer so that I could edit the videos. I transferred the videos with Google Photos because that's the only way I knew how, besides emailing the files. I might have to go with emailing them, because when I used Google Photo, the sound quality got really bad. And I had to actually enhance the sound on the photo, on the video editor, and I would like to get away from having to do that. If you guys have any ideas on that, better ways to get your video from your phone to your computer, please let me know in the comments. A back stitch here, a couple, and then melt the thread and be done with this. I'm trying not to pull it too tight because I like the threads to be a little bit loose. So when I pull them too tight, they sink down into the leather a little bit too far, I think. This doesn't look as nice. And I'm just going to meld it, push it down, and now I got my finished stitch. Alright, so the next stage is to attach this outside piece and glue it and stitch it. So I've already glued them on, and I've already poked the holes to it for the thread, so now I'm just going to stitch them up. And I'll go on to the next step. Alright, I've got all these pieces glued on and stitched. This will go on the outside of the wallet like this. Give it some support, and makes this back edge last a whole lot longer with all that. So I'll put these aside. The next step is to take the back of the wallet and glue the liner on. So we'll get to the back side. This is a glazed pigskin. I love it. This stuff is a really good liner, and it helps it stay waterproof. You want to give yourself plenty of room in between them, because you want to make sure the glue goes over the outline. That way it'll glue all the way to the edge of the wallet. Now we'll just cut these out, leaving myself plenty extra. Alright. Take the barge's cement, and I put a little bit on. I put a little bit more on than what I need to, but that's just the way I do it. And I use my finger and I just smooth it all out, make sure it goes over all the outline. All the way out. And I take the wallet back, do the same thing to that. You gotta have glue on both sides. Alright. Gonna let that sit a little bit to get tacky. Now with this leather, you got to be really careful not to get glue on the nice surface that everyone's going to see, because it'll darken it a lot and it'll be noticeable. And I haven't seen it lighten up yet on a couple of spots that I accidentally got glue on. Luckily it wasn't very much, and it's not very noticeable where it was at. So you just got to keep an eye on where the glue is and not get it somewhere where it shouldn't be. Make sure it's completely off your hands, completely dry off your hands before you handle it, because you will regret it if you got a ruined wallet. Alright, I'm going to try to line this up with my pen outline close as I can. Press it down with my hands. And then I flip it over. Make sure there's nothing on the table. Flip it over and give it a good rub down with your hands. Get all the edges really well. You want it to stick especially well around the edges. Alright, the glue's all dry. The next step is to trim this off. And you could use scissors, but the way I like to do it, I like to put something heavy, hold it on the edge of the table, and just use an X-Acto knife. That way I can trim right up close to it and make a nice clean cut without cutting my wallet back. Again, some people don't use a liner, but I prefer the liner because of how nice it makes the inside of the wallet, and it's really worth it when you look at the inside of the wallet, and it's really nice and smooth instead of rough, in my opinion. Alright, the next step is to glue this back piece on this piece to stitch it. So you just need your scratch awl and put it right in the center. Now that I've sanded the edge, I need to bevel it so it's nice and smooth and rounded. And I have a burnishing wheel that I made out of brass. Works pretty well. Alright, I need to do that 2 more times and we'll go on to the next step. The next step is to take your groover and make a groove along the top to make your stitches. Alright, now we're going to make our holes for our stitching. Again, I'm going to use the 4-hole puncher. And I just lay a scrap piece of leather down. I could use a foam block, but I find that the foam block is a little too flexible, which it's hard to make the holes straight through with the foam block. So the piece of leather protects the table, protects my hole punch, and it's firm enough that I can go straight down in without any issues. Alright, I got my hole straight across there. I'm going to do that to these other 2 and we'll go on to the next step. Now I'm ready to make my stitch across the top there. Like I said before, I like to give myself 4 times the length of thread that I need. It's better to have a little bit too much than not enough. Okay, so I've got this all glued and stitched on. I also glued and stitched a little badge that I made with the initials of my business, BSH Black Swamp Holsters. I usually use my regular logo is it's got a couple guns on it, BSCH Black Swamp Custom Holsters down the middle. But I don't want to put guns on wallets that I'm just selling to general public, because I don't want to alienate gun fans and not gun fans when it comes to wallets. And plus I put these in a store. I don't want somebody to pick it up and see there's 2 guns on there with my logo and not want to buy it. So the next step is to glue and stitch the inside panels. So what I'm going to do is get a scratch awl and line up the one side and mark underneath. That tells me where to stop with my glue. And I'm going to glue it here and here. I don't want to glue the top, because at the top, if you remember, I showed you the top's going to be open. So we'll do that on both sides. Alright, now we just wait till that gets tacky and put it together, stitch it up. Okay, now the glue's dried. I'm going to line these up. Make sure that it's nice and even down the side. I'll go and put this on the sander and make it nice and straight. Now I'm just going to set those aside and let those dry a little bit before I put them on the sander. That'll be the next step. Okay, sorry there's not much light over here, but I'm going to sand this edge and this edge and that edge. Get it all squared up. Okay, now I've got my edges all sanded. They look great, nice and smooth and flat. I'm going to take my beveler and clean it up. Okay, the next step, I'm going to go ahead and burnish the edges right now before I stitch it. So I got a little bit of water here on a sponge. Wet the edges down. My dogs are going crazy because there's somebody outside making noise. We live in town, so we hear noise all the time. Okay, I've got the edges all slicked. Now I'm going to take my burnishing tool and smooth out any rolled over edges that I see. Make it look really nice. Flatten out anything that doesn't look right. It's really worth taking the time to do little details because it really makes a difference in the way your wallets look. If you pay close attention to the way all your edges look and make sure that everything looks very well made. You don't want to put anything out there that doesn't look good. Alright, so the next step is going to be taking my groover and making a guide for my stitching and then stitching them up. Alright, it's all done. It's all stitched together and edge coated.
Hello.
Really nice. This is my son Parker.
Hello.
He wanted to be in the video today. So now I've got two different sleeves that I use. I put on these. This one that I use for the stores, and this one I use for people that are gun fans. It's got my gun logo on it. So I needed a logo that didn't have guns on it for the people that don't like guns. But I'll show you how I put these on. Just center the logo right in the middle of the wallet. Wrap it around on each side. Make sure it's straight in the back. Take a little piece of tape. Tape it on. There. Looks really nice sitting on a shelf.
Cool. That's really cool.
Well, thanks for watching my video and seeing how I make my wallets. This is just the one style of wallet that I make. But I'll show you how to make something else in another video. Thanks for watching. See ya. Bye-bye.